Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's Shino, and we're back in AutoMods 10 to the sky. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing good. I have been doing a little bit of building here. I want to make sure, I've done the squares. I've kind of got everything done. Now it's time to turn it into a home, really. So, putting in little features and things that we can look at and observe. Plus, give myself a little more space to expand. So I'm decided that I think this area is going to be good for, I don't know. It's going to be primarily for power generation. I'm going to be setting up in here. So I got the power stuff. I'll probably put the power generators in here, all that kind of stuff. But we'll see. I may end up putting some automation and manufacturing processes in here. If you saw the ATM9 series, I talked about that. There's some items you kind of want to keep on hand all the time that need to be manufactured. And there's some that you're just going to make, as needed. So that's what I'm thinking about maybe using this area for. Some of those, not the on-demand stuff, but the safety stock items, things I want to keep on hand at all times. Cool. I'm a supply chain guy. Sue me. I'm a supply chain guy. So I look at things from a perspective of max inventories, min stocks, safety stocks, minimum order quantities, all that kind of stuff. Built this area over here. We are going to be putting a lot of automation processes into here, and this will be stuff, that we'll be using for, manufacturing stuff. So I envision probably like a lot of the mechanism stuff may be in here. Maybe move some of the Tech stuff in as well. And I like this little feature here. I've been thinking about this, and I think the Crack Deep Slate, I think I am going to be expanding it into, other areas. The other part you're going to notice is the size of this. If I go and I hit F9, which brings up the chunk borders, shows you the corners there, right? So there is a corner of a chunk, and you'll see this now comes right to the edge of a chunk. That's another reason why I wanted to do this. I'm going to start moving kind of everything into the chunk borders so that, I don't have to have quite as many chunks loaded because systems are running over, 2 or 3 different chunks. Like I got over there, 6 chunks, whatever it is. This is a mess. I don't know why you guys let me do this. Yeah, if you're a regular viewer of my channel, and next time I start a series that a modded Minecraft series, in episode 1, please holler out, obey the chunk borders. All right. What else we done over here? Okay, so last episode we did the AE2 stuff, and I went ahead and set this up. This is how I normally like to do it, is I'll have 3 processes working at the same time. So this, you got every single one of these has one that's making printed silicones. And then you have one that's doing the logic circuits, and one that's doing calculate or engineering, and this one's doing calculation. And then in the center, they all come together, and you can set up the auto export on these. So it says produce items will be auto exported through any extraction side. So since there's only one side that's connected to, it has to dump it into here. So we're going to automate this through AE2 today to make sure that we always have silicone in this, and we always have Certus quartz in this, and then we always have redstone in this. So anytime we go to use any, we're going to have this export to a particular system that's going to keep account of how many we have. So we're going to set it up and say, hey, we always want to have 128 or 256 of these on hand at all times. And then the system will take care of that all for us. And this will probably get moved, over into that area, probably. I have also, I'm going to sleep this night. I added this little area in right here. It's just a wall, just to kind of close this off, because I am going to put some automation stuff back here that will be, it won't be on demand. Well, some of it will be on demand. Some of it will be stock level stuff. So we're going to set that up back here. Let me sleep this night. Inside here, quite a bit has changed. I got rid of that shelf, that second tier that was in here. It was driving me crazy. So I got rid of that, and then I put my normal cluster right here in the center, and that is just using a facade right there. So we still have access to our terminal here. And then I went ahead and increased the number of drive that we have over here. I still don't have a whole lot of drives. I think I've got two 256s now and the 64 and the 1K that we made before. But I did go ahead and add in the MEIO port. This becomes in really handy because as stuff like if you might throw stuff into here or it might come in or whatever, and then as you expand your inventory system, those items could still exist on the drive that have a home up here. And I don't like to have items stored in two different locations if I can avoid it. So what's cool is I can go in and I can pop this drive out like this and pick it to here, click up to here, drop it in. And you see it got rid of a bunch of that stuff. It moved some of it into other drives. It's combined some stuff. So you have some items that now that may have been here that were existing here that they're now on that inventory system. I found that very helpful with the with these items for AE2. See, I've got my storage system set up here, so I can put a level emitter on these and say, hey, you know, if I've got more than 128, don't do anything. But if it's less than 128, manufacture some. Let's go out the front door here. Out this way, and I'm going to fly. I don't have a whole lot of power, so I got to be kind of careful flying. But anyways, here we go. I've got this area built up here, and I'm going to put some homes up here. And I think actually I'm going to build a house for Gerald. I've been thinking about that. I may put an area up here for Gerald to reside in. Give him a porch and a patio, maybe a swimming pool. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm going to put a little area up here. This will be like a living area. And then we'll just have this area opened up for being able to come in and come and go as we want. Again, I am going to put in the peaceful animal farm. I've been thinking about it. I am going to do that. I'm going to set it up over here inside like a stable. And then we'll have some of these animals that have come to join us in this series. We'll leave them. We're not going to sacrifice them. But look, I did get a cow. Cow spawned finally. Oh, this area over here. So this is our, let me turn that off. This is our mystical agriculture area, and I've got 2 farms set up. I got rid of the other farms, and I think I'm just going to keep these 2 farms going. I'm going to just move seeds over. I don't think I created any more seeds except for the dye seeds. I did go ahead and create a whole row of dye seeds. There's a lot of stuff that, I would need to use dyes for, different colors I saw during like crafting. So I wanted to have this set up so we can put in the auto crafting to create whatever sides or slides. Yeah. We can put in an auto craft recipe for whatever dyes we want to produce. This has all stayed the same with the exception of I did change the soil down here to Insanium farmland. So that gives us a 350% boost to the Infernium output. Whereas this stuff over here is, what is it? I can't remember. It's the tertium. And it gives like a very, I think it's like 150% chance. Built me a pond over here. I did this in all the mods 9 as well, but I built a big like jungle island. I didn't want to go full jungle island, but I'm going to keep working on this. And I think I am going to put a waterfall in coming down off of our new hill here and get some water moving through this area. I think that would look pretty cool. I think it looks pretty cool as it is right now. I mean, I'm pretty excited with the way this looks. Got some mangrove in there, got some azalea, bamboo, vines, all that kind of cool stuff. You put some plants and stuff in, some drip leaf. So I'm pretty happy with it. Got a good mix of using some of the moss blocks that we've been creating and kind of dropped them here, there, and everywhere, just kind of break up the color structure here. And then we're going to put bees over here. I've been thinking about it. I think this is going to be a good area for our productive bees. And I think productive bees is probably going to be one of the key elements for getting most of our ores and resources that we're going to need. I think we're going to do it that way. And then just did a little bit of decorating over here. just kind of give this area a little more life instead of just being a flat area. You know, I want to kind of change it up a little bit. So we might do some, we might do some elevation changes here as well. In my inventory, you'll see I got a clipboard, and I'm just going to start keeping track of the things that I think of that we need to do, and I'll kind of put them into a logical sequence as we go along. But today is definitely going to be AE2 Auto Crafting. That is what we're going to be getting done in this episode. So let's get back in here and get to looking at it. So we know we can craft using this mechanic right here. If there's something that I need to make, I can, put the recipe in here and we can make it. Let's say, for example, if I need some dirt, I could do that right there, right? And so this is sort of like an auto crafter, but there's ways with AE2 that we can actually make it auto magic, where we don't even have to think about it anymore. We can just say, hey, give me dirt. And then if we have a situation where we don't have enough dirt, the AE2 system will use that recipe to go ahead and create that for us. Now, the problem with expanding your AE2 system is that you begin to use more and more power to keep everything going. Let's fly up here again. And we're going to go down below. I got to be careful. I've been having a little bit of problem with my fingers and thumbs, so I keep hitting buttons I don't mean to. But there you go. You can see that if I click on it, where does it show it? Energy usage, 21.86 AE per tick is what that's using. And if I flip that over to FE, you can see with this limited amount of stuff that we have, we're already using 43.72 FE per tick just for what we've already got going. So as we add in, as we expand our AE2 system more and more and more, we're going to be needing more and more and more power. Now, we do have this over here creating power for us. And if we look at what it's generating, it is creating 10,240 FE per tick is what this thing is generating for us. But if we look at our, where's it at? Network statistics. There we go. You can see that every so often we get, whenever the system down below us clicks, it's getting us 25,000 FE per tick is what it's using. So we're fluctuating here just ever so slightly, because remember, these don't use power until the green bar gets up to here, and then boom, it's dumping. And this thing is using RF cost per item 2,560 is what it's doing. So that's quite a significant amount. When you talk 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these going here. Plus we've got all of these kind of going, all this stuff was hardware working back here as well. So long story short, what I'm saying is, I think it's time we also expand our power a little bit. So if you look at our kind of our to-do list, and this may take us 2 episodes, we'll find out. But I think one of the first things I'd like to do is to make the niotic thermal generator. But I think we're going to be doing the auto processing aspect to get this done. All right, this may be one of our first recipes that we set up is, hey, we're going to make all these components as part of the auto processing system. Cool. All right, let's get in here. Let's see how we're going to make that work. I'm going to turn that off for a moment. All right, first thing, there's going to be a couple monitors that we're going to need to have. And we're going to start off making those first. We're going to need the pattern access terminal, which really shouldn't be that hard. We may actually have some of these items together already. Let's go ahead and make, I don't know, like 16 of these. Do that. And we're going to need the annihilation core. Cool. And then we throw that together there. So there is our pattern provider. We'll probably need several of those. But right now, let's just get what we're here for. And that's the pattern access terminal. I can take that off our list, our to-do list. Now let's do this one. So for this one, we're going to need to make another crafting terminal. need an ME turnable, and we need the formation core. Now we can make that, and we can make that. And that should be everything we need now for the pattern encoder. Cool. Typically what I like to do, and I can't remember which one is, oh, wrong one, that back. I'm going to need some cable, and we don't really need the smart cable on this. Do we have just the regular ME cable? See if we can just make us a little bit of this to have. We don't need like any kind of fancy cable for this. I'm going to fly here now. Throw that in. And then we can put this, and we're going to put that on there as well. We may have to arrange these a little bit. Let's see. That's pattern encoder. No, that works for me. That works for me right there. And I think I got some facades left, because you got to make like several of them, right? Facade, yeah. Make a couple more facades. Put that there. Put that there. Cool. Maybe like, I don't know. Yeah, it feels about right. Cool, so that gives us our pattern area here. This is where we can go in and actually make the recipes that we're going to be needing and to store those. But we're not quite there yet. So we'll get rid of that one. Let's go ahead now. Let's go ahead and make up these recipes. So let's go here. And we're definitely going to need quite a few of these, but I'm just going to make a full stack of 64. Here we go. One. And we'll put those in there. So yeah, the cool thing here is now we can take a recipe and we can put that recipe in here. Let's say, for example, sticks, right? If I want to make more sticks, we know the recipe for that is planks. So let's say, we need a recipe that is that right there, right? We can say, hey, when you need planks, take one birch log and make a plank. And when we get done, we can do boom. And now we've got that recipe stored, and it shows it right there. And if we decide then that we don't want that recipe, we can hold on the shift key, click, and now that is empty. It's a blank pattern again. So we can create these recipes. You also have the ability to say, hey, allow for substitutions. So like I can click on that and it says now substitutions are enabled. So now everything that falls underneath that caveat of Minecraft log can now be used in this recipe. So now it doesn't have to specifically be birch, right? It could be the oak or the dark oak or whatever it's going to use to be able to create it. But if you don't want that, you can say specifically, hey, if I want specifically birch logs for something, then I can click that off and say, nope, only use birch. Same thing with your when you're talking about AE2, or not AE2, but your metadata on items. So for example, if you have a battery, which I don't think I have a battery yet. I did, but hey, I got rid of them. But anyways, if you have a curio battery from Power, you can say, hey, you can use this in a recipe. AE2 would not use it if it has a different metadata tag on it. So if it's a full battery, or let's say it's an empty battery, but when you made this pattern, you said don't use substitutions, and you gave it one that had a full battery on it. Well, now every time AE2 goes to manufacture whatever you're wanting to make, it's going to look for that full battery. And if you don't have it, it's going to say, hey, I can't do this. Used to run into that problem a lot with, what was it? The Project E, when you're making the Klein stars. Always ran into problems with that. So anyways, this is how we do it. And then you can clear that out of there as well. You also have, now this is a crafting pattern. So this is what anything that you can make in a crafting grid, is what that is. There's also processing patterns, and there's also smithing templates. So you can automate some of the smithing items. Stone cutting patterns the same way. Processing is really cool because that's like if you want to attach it to a machine. For example, we're going to be building some processing patterns for these things right here. And so we're going to be able to tell it, hey, this is the recipe and this is the machine that you're going to use to manufacture this. And we get a little frustrated with that, but that's okay. I'll figure it out. Look at me. First world problems, am I right? I'm complaining about being able to fly. All right, so that's kind of the basics for the patterns and how we're going to get going. Okay, all that just to say, you know, that's how we do that. But we can't start doing anything yet until we have the ability to actually start doing the patterns themselves. So let's start looking at what we need to do for that. Now I'm going to make a crafting monitor. Let's see, what do we need for the crafting monitor? We're going to need both. There it is. Give me a set of those. And we're definitely going to need several of these level emitters. So I'm going to grab, there we go. That'll work for now. That's all I've got. And now we can do that. And that gives us the ME storage monitor. And then, oh, we need the crafting unit. Is that. And now that should give us a crafting monitor. That gives us a crafting monitor. Cool. And can we convert that into a panel? We cannot, but that's okay. We've got the crafting monitor. Now we need to actually build the computer system. The computer system is what is actually gonna need to be kind of available to do this kind of stuff, all this crafting. So let's get started on that. We're gonna start here with the crafting crow processor. So let's make, I don't know, 3 of these, 4, 5, 6. Let's make 6 to start off with. And I'm just gonna make 2 of these to start off. I'll put that in there. We're gonna make 2 of those right now. And then the 1K ones. I think I've got enough to make 2. Okay. And I think I'd like to have 2 more. So can we make 2 more of those and 2 more of those? And for the life of me, I can't remember what the advanced pattern provider does, but we're going to go ahead and make it. I know it's part of our checklist anyways of things that we need. So let's go ahead and just get it knocked out. There we go. See, that unlocks a bunch of stuff for us. In fact, let's go take a peek at our AE2. And so auto crafting order up. Auto crafting system begins with the ME pattern provider. The pattern provider holds certain items called patterns covered in the next quest. You often be using multiple pattern providers scattered all throughout your base, which is why it's useful to have a pattern access terminal. All right, so we've got the auto crafting done. We can collect that stuff. The patterns, we've already talked about the patterns, so we can get that taken care of there. Crafting storage, this is the system that we made, that 1K crafting storage. We made that. Crafting CPU is a multi-block structure requiring at least 1 crafting storage block. Optionally, along with any other crafting unit, the multi-block can be made in any size, but must be solid cuboid in order to form and function correctly. Okay, and we made the level emitters. These are kind of cool. This is what we're going to be using to kind of monitor how much of a certain item we have on hand for our like our processing our logic cards. Yeah, that's what we're going to be doing there. Crafting coprocessor. Base AE2 coprocessor provides 1 coprocessor thread to assist this, while the coprocessor unit from Megacells provides 4 threads and a single such block. So that might be something we want to look at also. All right, the crafting monitor. The crafting monitor displays the overall item being crafted along with the remaining quantity of that item still being crafted. Both the base AE2 monitor and the Mega monitor function identically, but are provided for aesthetic purposes. Okay, so I think we could probably... Where's that thing at? Put it right up here, maybe. Maybe not. Maybe it's part of the structure. We're going to find out. All right, in times past, I have made the crafting flower. I'm not sure if I want to do the crafting flower again or not. I think what I would like to do is maybe have a wall of processors running right here. I don't know. We're going to see about, how this is all going to look as I do it. So we're going to kind of, as we go along, we're going to kind of figure this stuff out. I should have a power cable for AE2 that can run right up through here. So I think this is where we're going to start at. So I'm going to put down that and that and that. I think we've got to do that. And that becomes, yeah. So I'm going to need 2 more. Actually, I don't have to. You know what we could do? Because I have done this before. I've done this and then boom, boom, and that functions as well. So let's do that. Okay. So those are, they're built, but they're not connected yet. And I'm going to put this like right in between. Nope, that won't work. See how it's different colors now? Yeah, so that won't work. Can I put it on one side? Nope. Okay. I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do with this thing. All right, so the other thing we're going to have for crafting to take place is a molecular assembler. It's an auto crafting table is what it is. Okay. And it's required. So as you go through this process of crafting this stuff, you're going to have the molecular assemblers working on. Now, we haven't talked about channels all that much. Okay. So we'll kind of get into a little bit of talking about channels, but you can have up to 6 molecular assemblers connected to a single pattern provider. So what does that mean? It means that you can have, one pattern provider, which is, what do I do with that thing here? We have that one pattern provider, and then we can have the molecular assemblers attached to that. So let's take a look at what we need for the molecular assemblers. So let's see. We can make one. We can make one. That's okay. Let's go ahead and make 2 more. So we'll do that. And then, of course, we'll need this one also. 2 of those. And now we should be able to do 2 more. Cool. So we got 3 molecular assemblers. And like I said, in times past, I've made the flower. And what I mean by the flower is, you have a molecular assembler, or you have a pattern provider up like that, and then you have a cable running down the middle of it, and then you start branching off from it from there. I don't know if I want to do that this time, because it really is difficult to get everything, squared up and taken care of. So I think I want to do it just a little bit different, and I haven't quite decided exactly how I want to do it yet. But I'm thinking about doing something like this. And then we can use, another molecular assembler can go in there, and another one can go in there. And then, we can then have a wall that basically has all this going, because it's pretty cool. When you see it, it's actually pretty cool. All right, we need to make a bunch of cable. We got to get all this wired together. So let's take a look at the requirements for cable, right? So we have this cable right here. If I didn't mean to hit that. If I hit U, I want to hit R, recipe. There we go. That's the recipe I want to see right there. So I'm going to pop up here. I'm going to hit this, and I'm going to say, add this pattern to it. And I'm going to say, hey, that's my crafting recipe for that. Now we can't do anything with it yet. Okay. Right now you can see I can't, this is where you're going to be able to see where you can put stuff. So when the molecular assembler is connected, then you'll be able to drop in your patterns here. We can't do that just yet. All right, so let's take this smart cable, and I'm going to hit R on that recipe as well. Add that. I'm going to add that one as well, because that's really what I want to get to right here. Is I need more of these dense cables. Let's get us quite a few more of these. Stack of 64. We'll see what that does. And we're going to need to make, how many of these can we make? I made 64. Good. And then need to make the dense cables, 16 of those. And then let's turn those into the smart cables. Here we go. 18 and 18. That should give us a good start. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run a cable like that down through there. That's going to turn that whole system on right there. And then I'm going to put in a smart cable there. We can come underneath here, and let's see, this is smart cable. I want to turn this over to dense cable here. How close is that going to get us? Not very close. Maybe enough though. Nope. Need about 4 or 5 more. Let's go make another stack. And I'm running out of string, but we do have spider essence. And I think I know I can use that spider essence to create string. So let's give me quite a bit of string here. Cool. And then we can use that string for making wool. Here we go. That should give me everything I need now to finish making all that. So I got 2 stacks now of the normal covered cable. I'm going to make, yeah, let's go ahead and make all 16. I got 17. That's fine. Those there. Give me those. Put those there and give me those. Cool. Make sure our magnet's on, and I'm going to break that and then break all that. Let's go ahead. I want to have, oh, wrong spot. I want to have as much of the dense cable running through here as possible, because this dense cable will hold 32 channels. And each one of these lines, the non-dense, the regular holds 8. So basically you can fracture off a couple of times. So bring them out like this. We'll set up like that, and we'll do that. Cool. And so looking up this way, we can see 2 of 8 channels being used there. Look this way, 1 of 8 channels being used there. And look here, 3 of 32 channels going that way. So now, yeah, there we go. See, now we can see the molecular assembler. And I can now put that pattern right there into the molecular assembler. And now when I type in cable, see the plus sign? That means I can manufacture it. So I can click on that and say, hey, you know, make 20 of those. And it's going to check and see, do I have all the components necessary to make 20? It says, yes, I do. Now I can hit start. All right. So I said we're going to work on getting the next level of generator going. We're still going to do that. I think we're going to break this up into 2 different episodes. So I'll do, you know, the next episode you watch, we'll probably be doing that part of it. I think what would be really good now is to go ahead, let's expand our capabilities of being able to get more patterns going for auto crafting. So to do that, I think we're going to make the jump up to the advanced extended pattern providers and the extended molecular assemblers. And these are going to require the acceleration cards. This is not going to be bad, but we do need to go through this process of doing this. And I think I got everything I need for that. So let me make sure my magnet's turned off. There we go. We're going to need, let's grab 3 stacks of that, 3 stacks of that, and 3 stacks of that. All right, let's go that, and that, and that, 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 and that, that, and that, and that. Oh, I needed charged. I needed the charged. Cool. That'll give us a little bit to kind of keep us going here. Notice we're getting a little low on it. Wrong one. There we go. Now we're not. Oh, you know what we need to do too? Let's go ahead and grab a couple stacks of that. I think I can throw this into here. No, I cannot. How can I get, is there any other way I can turn that into dust? Not really. Okay. All right, let's take a look at what we're going to need for these. We're going to need 4 molecular assemblers. Now we've already got some over here. We've got 3, and we're going to want, didn't have my magnet turned on. That was close. We're going to need that. We're going to need that too. Cool. All right. First thing we need to make is the crystal assembler. So we're going to need to get Skystone there. Oh, I see what happened. Okay. I'm going to click on this configuration for a second. I'm going to say auto output off. There we go. And we can turn it back on. I'd run Skystone through here, but it cooked it twice. So it turned into the blocks. Right there, Skystone block instead of just regular Skystone. That's what I did wrong. There. We make a Skystone. Oh, we need the reaction chamber for this too. Okay. All right, I think I got a bucket here. We do. So that should be the reaction chamber. All right, let's see if we can make ourselves the intro seed. So for that, we're going to need ender dust. So we're going to throw some ender pearls into the inscriber. All right, I think that'll be enough. I don't think I'm going to need to make too many of these. Check it and see, but let's go ahead and put that back into there. That one back into there. Put you back into there. That should give us everything we need for the seeds. I'm going to throw that up in there and 6 seeds. Not sure if that will be enough. We're going to find out. All right, intro crystal. It's growing by budding intrix flux, like how surface quartz works. To get budding intrized flux, you need to craft intro seeds and right-click Fluix block with it. All right, I've not seen this done before, so we're gonna play here just a moment. So it said to right-click. Okay. And so it looks like probably would be better to have this in an area where it can grow on all sides. What I'm kind of guessing. So let's pop out here for a moment. Put you there. Put you there, and then we take that away. And then right click. Cool. And same thing here. We'll give it 1, 2, and then a spot there. Right click. Now, can we affect this with our... Oh no, I've lost my my bottle of time. Where'd it go? Oh man, that's not good. All right, can this be affected? It can. Hey, there we go. And see that? It finally wore out. That's cool. So it turned it into a surface quartz block. Oh, that one changed over too. All right, we got 20 out of that. Let's go see what this one's doing. Of course, it's going to have 2 less spots that it can produce from. Yeah, this one never got above... It never got to the large, so the only thing I ever got off of it was just the shards. These right here. But I think we can still use those too, right? I can do U for those. Yeah, okay. I can get a couple more off of it that way. All right, I'm going to save some of these just in case. But we'll go ahead and turn the rest of these over into dust. All right, so I tried to do the reaction chamber, and I wanted to see, could you just do 2 and 2? To make those. So go here, go to the reaction chamber. Shows 500 millibuckets of water to do 32 and 32. So come to find out, no, it does have to be 32 and 32 to be able to do that. So I need to make a bunch more of this entropy crystals. Yeah, I need to do some more of that. So let me work on that for a while and I'll be right back. All right, let's give this a shot here. Let's see what happens. So half a stack of that and half a stack of that. That should produce 64. Cool. And it used up half a thing of water. All right. So now that we've got that first group done, we could in theory, I mean, basically we don't have to produce any more. We just have to manufacture, we need to have this turned into dust, and then we can do it again and again and again and again. And we can keep it going that way. I guess that would be maybe the best way to do it. I don't know. Let me know down in the comments if you know a better way of getting that entropy dust. Yeah, please let me know. All right, so I do need to get some more of this getting manufactured here. So I'm going to do the same thing I've done before. I'm just going to put a whole stack in here, and I'm going to put a whole stack into this one as well. Get rid of that. There we go. And I'm going to let that go to get some dust built up, and then I'll duplicate it, and then we'll also continue on with the rest of the process. So I'll need more water in that. All right, I'll be back. All right, while that's going through the process, we do need to make another circuit card. It is the concurrent processor, and I think I just need the one. Yeah, because we're already making the engineering processor. So yeah, we need the concurrent processor, which that's going to require the inscriber concurrent press, which is silicon press and 4 intro crystals and 3 eyes of ender. All right, so let's get a block of iron. Need that. Go take a peek. This is the silicon, right? Silicon, yep. So we throw that up into there, and it will stamp out another silicon press for us. Boom. Okay, all right, so now we can use the crystal assembler and that. Cool, there's the inscriber one. Let's get that out of there. Let's get that out of there. Let's put that into there. And give me, 8 of these. We'll let that go, and then we can take these out of here, and they should start crafting that. Cool. All right, it takes care of all the entropy dust there and there. We're going to throw the logic one back into there. We'll throw the silicone back into that one. And we've got 5, 6. Start with that. All right, let's see what we're going to need. We're going to need to make another molecular assembler. Let's add that to our shopping list. We'll do that. We've got the concurrent processors, the acceleration card. We're going to need to make these. We'll do that. And then we're going to need 3 of these. Acceleration cards are done. I think we just need 1 more of those. And that should be everything that we need over here. And 4 fluix dust. Hey, good. It doesn't have to be any particular sequence either. That's cool. Excellent. So there's our extended AE pattern provider. And now we need to make this. And this, we can just do this in the normal crafting area. Bunch of capacity cards. All right, sorry, I'm having a hard time getting this recipe because it's cycling through so many different combinations that it's getting a little complicated on me. Let's see this. I don't need that. I just need that right there. There we go. So I found myself making things as like, wait, that seems really complicated. Why am I having to make that? I don't. See, there's all these different ones you can use. So you need just any of them. And then we need some cable. Just take all of you and 3 crafting tables. Hear me saying, I will use them. Yep. Here we go. And that should be everything I need now. I know I'm going to have to look at that recipe a couple more times because you can't bring it in from here. All right. So we're here. There's no button to bring that over into the crystal assembler. So yeah, we'll have to do that and that and that and that and one of those. There we go. And it should leave behind, you know, what it doesn't need. There we go. Cool. Takes care of that. And then standard crafting recipe for the advanced extended. It'd be that right there. Cool. So yeah, all this. It was quite a rabbit hole we had to go down there. But what this is going to give us now is I can drop that in right there. I can put that right above it. And wow, look at all the patterns now that we can store in one location. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I think that's going to be definitely the direction we want to go with this. So same thing. I can come over here now. So where's it at? Here. Yeah, I can see the extended molecular assembler right there. And there's the recipe for it. What is this? Oh, I got this. I know what this is. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So we've got that access. We've got access to that now. So if we want to look at, you know, the process and the steps we'd have to go through to maybe do that all again. Let's take a look here. Well, because we got to do that in a separate area. Yeah, let me think about how I want to do this. I don't think I want to have that there. I want to put it someplace else. Probably that as well with access to water. Are there any other fluids that this thing is going to use? Yeah, it does. Okay, so there are a couple other recipes that use lava, quantum infusion. So when I go to set this thing up, the automation for this, we're going to want to have 3 of these set up. Yeah, we want to have 3 of these set up. One that can take water, one that can take lava, and one that can take quantum infusion. And quantum infusion is a recipe that comes from water, so it'll have to be chained together to run those at the same time. Yeah, cool. Would like to look at, let's see where we're at now. So we've done the advanced. We're still kind of working up in this area here, and it looks like everything else is going to be like for network stuff. So we'll call that the ending point for this one. Next episode, when we come back, we're going to be working on the AE2 network itself, building an energy acceptor and setting up wireless communication to our AE2 system so we can do stuff wherever we are in the base. All right, folks. Hey, thanks for spending time with me. This is Shino, and we'll see you in the next episode. Take care.